Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the dive I recently made on the 27th of August 2023. It was with Nautical Divers out of Jacksonville, Florida, which is a very top-notch organization. Also, I was on their boat, the research vessel Explorer. Now this boat is completely awesome. First thing, they only take 6 passengers. Second thing, they'll issue you an EPIRB and you return it at the end of the day. So if you are separated, drift off, something, they can't find you, and you surface, you can deploy the radio beacon and it will alert the Coast Guard and everybody else that there's a missing person, and they will react very quickly and you will be saved. I recommend any dive operation should have these for the people that are on their boat. But if they don't, you might want to break down and buy one yourself. I think they run about $199 on Amazon, so you know, they're not hard to get. What I wanted to talk to you about today was the dive equipment I used. I used my old stuff just because I can. I have an old horse collar BCD. I have the old backpack that goes with it, and of course a weight belt. And I just wanted to do it. Oh, the regulator. The regulator was also made in the 1960s. Or 70s, I'm sorry. It was 78, 79, something like that. So it was an old set of diving gear, but last I checked, the laws of physics and human physiology have not changed since the 1960s. So it worked, like I said, it worked flawlessly. I'll tell you a little bit about the dive. First dive, my computer said that we made it to 76 feet for 40 minutes. The second dive was to 75 feet for 35 minutes, and the last dive was to 80 feet for 28 minutes, for a total of 103 minutes underwater for the day. Like all the dives with Nautical Divers, all their trips are 3-tank dives. You have to be advanced certified and nitrox certified, which really is probably most of us that are experienced. Let's see, the water temperature was 88 degrees at the surface, and at the bottom it was 83 degrees. So we're only looking like 5-degree difference between 0 to 80 or 75 feet. So that's pretty warm water, no thermocline, and there was really no current. So let's talk a little bit about the gear that I chose to use. First of all, this brightly colored gem here is an old horse collar BCD. It does have a power inflator. I do highly recommend those. There's a pocket in the front for whatever you want to put in there. And I have a compass attached to it because I can find my way around wrecks, but reefs, it all looks alike to me, so I like to have a compass with me for that. When you're putting on this old horse collar style BCD, the first thing you do is you put on this part. There's a waist strap and a crotch strap with it. You want to connect those. The next piece of equipment you put on is the tank and backpack. Obviously there'll be a tank here, and you put this piece on, and then the last thing you do is put your weight belt on. And the reason for that is very simply, this is your life jacket. If you have to ditch everything else, you can ditch the weight belt, the tank, and still have your life jacket to be floating on the surface. Also, yeah, it's not as convenient as modern stuff, but you know what? I was diving with a bunch of pretty experienced divers on that 3-tank dive I'm talking about, and I went anywhere they went, and I didn't have any problems. This one thing, the older equipment does have some pluses and minuses. It's like anything else. For example, it is much less awkward to change tanks with the older gear, because you basically still you still have the BCD on at that point, and you've dropped your tank and weight belt, and to move it from one, just disconnect your regulator. You have to disconnect it here. Don't forget that, it's kind of important. And then you can just re-clamp it to another tank, and you're ready to go. Then attach your regulator, and you're all set. So yeah, there are pluses and minuses to it. It is faster to change. It's easier to change from tank to tank on the boat. Some of the I'm not going to go over negatives. If you go to any website, that old guy from Canada, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Anyway, he'll be happy to tell you what's wrong with this old system. Personally, I think if you're a good diver and the equipment is in good shape, you should be able to use any equipment out there without too much problem. All right, that's it. And the regulator I used was a Conshelf 14, like I said, made in the late 70s, and it works as well today as it did when it rolled out of the factory. Today's regulators do breathe a little bit better. They have been refined a lot, but the principle of operation and everything else is pretty much the same. Nothing's really changed. So materials have definitely changed, but as far as what the parts do and the pieces do, it's essentially the same. Well, let me tell you about the dive a little bit. First dive was not real memorable. It was a reef, and I was using a new camera that I recently obtained, and enjoyed that because the camera worked flawlessly, the equipment worked flawlessly. It's one of those days when everything works, and I didn't forget anything, which sometimes I do. So yeah, I got a good dive. And the second dive was on a wreck called the Casablanca here in Jacksonville, and there was a Goliath grouper on that one. And the first dive, the highlight of the first dive was a sea turtle encounter that I had. I actually ran into a sea turtle. There was a ledge, an outcropping that came over, and the sea turtle was in that outcropping, and I was swimming along under it. I had I don't know, 5 or 6 feet of room there, and the sea turtle was in there and I was in there, and we ran into each other, and it probably didn't like those bright lights that I got now, and it went off in a direction to my left. I got about 3 photographs of it. One of them came out pretty well. The other 2, one's iffy and one was just not that great. But it was swimming away from me at the time, so it was a good encounter because nobody got hurt, and I got a good picture or 2. And the second dive was pretty much that wreck of the Casablanca, like I was saying a minute ago. It was a decent dive. There was a Goliath grouper on there, and it's basically a debris field now. There's not much left of the vessel. So one particular area, there was kind of some debris piled up, and there was a little house that the grouper had moved into. I tried to film them. I did. I got some pretty good shots of him. And it was a pretty big one. Not the biggest one I've seen, but he was respectable. So that said, it was an enjoyable day. Also with Nautical Divers, they always have a pizza. When you go down for your last dive, the people on the boat put the pizza in the onboard pizza oven. So it'll be done by the time you get out of the water, stow all of your gear, and come in, and they also have water and crackers for you. What else? Oh, it's a nice boat. They've got a sun deck on the top where you can go and get some sun if you want, or sunburned, which wouldn't be the first time I got sunburned on there. Oh, let's see. That's pretty much it. We made it in safe. I gave the crew a generous tip, and everybody was happy. I was especially happy with that. I'm going to stick a couple of pictures on here of the dive. Some of them I took, and some of them were taken of me by my dive partner Eric. Thanks a lot, by the way, appreciate it. And I got that from Josh, the dive master. Oh, and one thing, I might as well throw this out there. The regulator I was using was older than the dive master on the boat. How about that, huh? But it worked flawlessly, and the dive master did a pretty good job too. So all I can say is, if you're ever in Jacksonville and you're looking for a dive and it's the weekend, might want to look up Nautical Divers LLC. They're a pretty good bunch of guys, and honestly they're the only game in town, so we're lucky to have them. Yes. Until next time, this is John signing off. Have a great day, and we'll catch you later. Holy cow, I was just watching my video that I just made, and I forgot to mention one thing about Nautical Divers boat, the Explorer. They have an elevator on it. Okay, this is no kidding. You swim up to the rear of the boat. The platform is lowered. You stand on the platform, grab the handles, then you're winched right up on board to deck level. One of the deckhands will remove your feet, or remove your fins. You can keep your feet, and yeah, then you just walk to your spot and sit down, remove your BCD, your tank, whatever, and yeah, you're ready. You're done. There's none of that crazy ladders mashing up and down and all that drama. Not with Nautical Divers. Everything is much nicer. I understand that these elevators are used up north in like New Jersey area, places like that. Well, that might be something you South Florida dive operators want to take a look at, because it's a lot safer and a lot easier. And you know, some people aren't in as good a shape as others, and well, you know, it's just a lot easier to dive when you have an elevator to pull you out of the water. All right, well, I thought I'd throw that little tidbit in there because it's important. And yeah, so that said, I'm signing off here, and have a great day, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please make a comment. I really enjoy them. Thank you.